All right. So we have a legendary guest with us today, Charlie Shrem, also probably one of the most liked people in the space, I think.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, you can't say your name without people smiling.
I
So
hope
that's
so.
a really positive thing, right? You have your own show. What's the show called again?
It's called the Charlie Shrem Show by Untold Stories.
Nice, nice. And you're here speaking today at Quantum Miami,
Yes.
but you are originally a Bitcoin legend. You were early building a business in the space.
Yeah.
Some would say you got a little bit shafted by the government in regards to that business you were building, and you've admitted that you maybe made some mistakes in that regard, but you've come out of that. You went through all that pain and suffering, and now you're rolling again in this space.
Yeah.
So what I'm kind of curious from somebody who kind of came from that world, the Bitcoin world and the beginning stages world where it was much harder to do anything. Kind of what's your take on what's going on now? Are you like you consider yourself still a Bitcoiner, a Bitcoin
You
maximalist?
remember that famous like Kennedy, like Ich bin ein Berliner?
Yeah, yeah.
Ich bin ein Bitcoiner.
Forever.
We are all Bitcoiners at heart, right?
Absolutely.
The tenets of what got me into Bitcoin and what got all of us into whatever crypto it was that we first got into.
Yeah.
There's tenets to that and pillars. And like to me, what it means to be a Bitcoiner is that like hard money, the ability to have an asset or data or information that no one can remove or to pull back away from you, be able to publish something like even this show without fear that it has to pass through some data source or a government that can shut you down or where you're feared of doing it. Or if you wanted to collect donations or take money and do it at the same time. If you wanted to be a worker somewhere in Afghanistan and write computer code and you wanted to be able to publish that, how do you do that? If you want to publish a blog and you're in Syria, if you're in Argentina or Cyprus and the government's taking your money because they were fiscally irresponsible, that's what Bitcoin was for you. Crypto got all of us involved from Steemit and blogging, to be able to have information and data or whether it reversed. All these things, what it means to be a Bitcoiner, it's still there. We're still excited. It gets me up every day. It makes me excited to want to work and be in this space. But it's true. It's been watered down. It's been lost. Every bull market makes people forget. We get focused on the prices. I'm guilty of that too.
Sure.
But thankfully,
Well,
for bear markets, right?
Yep, absolutely. Well, look, I think the bear markets resets all of our mindsets, right? Hey, I mean, everyone talks about the guys that are still building the bear markets. That's the true thing. And I truly believe that. But I also think it kind of also resets our reality check and lets us all kind of say, wait a minute, yeah, why did we get this? Exactly kind of the ethos you were talking about right now. It's like, it's about freedom. It's about the freedom of money, the freedom to act, the freedom to communicate. And I think it makes a ton of sense. Are you like actively engaged in stuff outside of Bitcoin?
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
projects?
Absolutely. And this like this like decentralization maximalism that I kind of have and have been adapting. So I work for a VC fund. I started a small stage.
Oh,
I
awesome.
love doing startups. I built one, back in 2011, had the Instant, one of the earlier Bitcoin exchanges back then. But I like starting companies and being like at the helm myself, but I like also helping CEOs and helping people start companies and avoid those red flags that I made.
Yeah.
And so I'm part of a VC fund, Druid Ventures. We invest in early stage, like Series A, but mostly seed companies, small check sizes, like $200,000 is our check size. We're very involved. We've made 10 investments in the bear market so far.
Wow.
Just getting involved. And the thing is, like, when a company passes the first step test, they bring me into the room. They're like, all right, Charlie, get them.
So you're like the startup shredder. That's great.
But I like very polite and I listen to everything and I ask questions. But my goal is to like find a problem that I know we could fix, and then we'll invest in that company and then help them or whatever.
That's awesome. Well,
It's a lot
look,
of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I see why they do that, dude,
Yeah.
because you went through trial by fire building a
Yeah.
startup. I mean, you built a startup that was successful and growing rapidly in a space that nobody understood at all. Like, I mean, at least now we have the benefit of people having some concept of what's happening here. At the time you built a Bitcoin startup, nobody even knew what the hell Bitcoin was.
Yeah.
It was a core group of cyberpunks and libertarians. That was it. That's all you had.
If you could like avoid the conversation of like what back then, like opening up a bank account for your business or yourself personally, or like explaining to your family members what you did. We would talk about the business outside. So it's like, hey, how does company been instant? We're selling this thing that people want to buy for a little bit extra than we paid for it. They're like, but why? And what are they doing? Why are they buying this? What is like we sell airline miles, but why? You can't fly anywhere with it. Well, you can go in some chat rooms and buy, like pocket knives that or something. But why? Well, and so like the back then, most people would get Bitcoin for free from like a faucet. We talked about it in the it was free. But there was a point for me at least when like there just wasn't enough coming out of the faucet. I wanted more.
Right.
I wanted more. And this was actually something I learned about the economy, that economies are not judged based on like the value of the products or the services within it, but it's the velocity of money. It's how fast is money changing hands.
Right.
So in the early days of the Bitcoin forums, all we did was it was chatting about this Bitcoin thing. And then eventually it evolved into like there were faucets where you could give them away. And then now that people had them, you wanted to spend them. So people would just go on and post their own services, like I'll make you a logo, I'll knit socks for you. Things that were like people had value to them, but they were maybe doing already. I had an electronics, like a little daily deal site, daily checkout.
Right.
And so what I did for Bitcoin was I took the products that no one really wanted, then I put them on the Bitcoin forum for Bitcoin. I would sell like digital cameras. I would go on Craigslist and buy JetBlue vouchers and then just resell them on the Bitcoin forums because I wanted more Bitcoin. I wanted to be part of that velocity of money. This was my friend group. These were my friends, my family. I met my wife through Bitcoin. Like this was everything we did. So I just wanted to be part of that. And that's why I started BitInstinct, because I wanted to I felt like almost like a rent seeker. I felt like I was just taking and I wasn't giving back. So I was like, let me start a company to give back to the cryptos, to the Bitcoin space. And that's where BitInstinct started. And that's where I wanted to start the Bitcoin Foundation, was I wanted to give back more and do conferences like this.
It's amazing. In the startups you're seeing, are you guys investing in DeFi related things, Bitcoin related things? It's got a mix of startups, regular tech startups as well.
Yeah. We're kind of looking at the angle of the picks and shovels play.
Okay.
So I feel like we don't know where this whole industry is going to end up. We don't know what chains or blockchains. We don't even know the use cases for half of the shit.
Yeah.
But I feel like there is we need to build out the technology still. We need to build out all of the different utilities and different, I'm going to say different things like mortgage servicing on chains, illiquid lending. You could do all the financial stuff. You can do all the other tech stuff. You could build the NFTs. So here's an example. We don't invest in companies issuing NFTs,
right?
But if you have a business where you build a mechanism in which anyone can come and mint their own NFTs and have, systems built in where they can engage with their NFT owners, we invest in those.
That's awesome. Historically the shovels and pickaxes are places where you make the most money. So.
You make the most money. They're the hardest to pick. No pun intended. They're the hardest to choose because they're not businesses that have consumer-ready products now. It's easy to invest in Scotch tape.
Yeah.
It's easy to invest in things that we use because we already know their utility value. We use them every day. Should someone to chat, invest in every product you use. Well, by that point, every hedge fund under the sun is investing in it. So what is it for me? But I know those plays. I know how to, or try to know how to foresee where what it will be. So I try to.
Are you getting a lot of deal flow from your network of connections that bring in startups into the space? Or is that something you want to deal with?
Yes, I do. I get a lot of deal flow we've invested. I had someone in where we live in Florida, someone who works for a landscaping company pitch me something. My heart is there. If you're in Bitcoin and crypto, I will listen.
That's amazing.
I will stop what I'm doing.
That's what you're able to do.
Exactly. All I'm ever able to do is I might as well embrace it. I'm never going to be able to do something else. So
no time at all.
People pitch me on Twitter. We've invested in companies. Oh my God, there's no bad way to pitch someone. Yeah,
that's awesome. I love the landscaping story. That's beautiful.
Yeah, we get a lot of deal flow too. So
yeah,
interesting, cool people. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Your way as well.
We get the guy who fixes our sprinklers whenever he comes over. The security guy.
Really?
Yeah. He's always like, all right, I'll come fix your alarm or your security cameras. But we made a deal. He prepares very complicated questions, long-winded, like essay thesis ready questions.
Wow.
And then he comes over, and we spend we did two a month. And he comes over and we sit, and he's got the best brain, and he's he's like, I understand this. He's like, I get this, and I'm going out there. Like what he does is he tries to solve his own problems, and he goes out there looking for the solutions, and
Right.
he's
If you can't find it, he comes to you.
and he tries to stop me, and we figure it out together. But he's so smart, and I love people like that.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And yeah, the funny thing is somebody might dismiss the security guy, somebody could never get it. And what we have found is that startup and founders, technical people, and investors come from every walk of life. We discount where their role is in life at their job at our peril, I think. So
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Well, some of the people that have messed with on the show, I mean, it's like post guy out in the outback of Australia or something like that. Who's
We have a guy
first
who's
time listening.
It's a guy who's a total degen investor. He's in our community. He's a motorcycle postal man in Australia. So I envision him out the output delivery mail. He says he listens to the show every
that's
day.
so cool.
Isn't that cool? It's like crazy. It's crazy.
I still have like big imposter syndrome when people come over and tell me I listened to your show or like I listened to that.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I still don't. The numbers tell me people are listening, but I still have this like thing that like no one's like their side listening.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
it's weird.
It's so weird. Well, we have a daily engagement with our, like this is live. We have a daily live show. And so we have people asking us questions and talking.
I gotta do that.
It's actually, you know what it's great about it is it reduces burnout because I feel, and sometimes you feel like, oh my God, am I going to do another daily show with this? I don't know why we're going down this track for an interview, but whatever.
No, I get it. I get it.
But when I know that those people are going to be waiting there to ask questions, to participate, to add value to the show, it makes all the motivation you need. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
That feedback makes you feel validated. I mean, it makes you feel like you're contributing to something more than just ourselves.
Yeah.
That's fun too. We talk about this frequently. A lot of the younger guys, you know, when they're asking questions, I'm just amazed that they're actually listening to us. You know, it's like, you know, I'm like, wow, that is something.
The other day, we were both in an interview, and somebody from this community was like, "These dudes are so fucking old," and I was like, and so I laughed and said, "Joey's talking about you," and then at the end of the interview, the guy's like, "Damn, they really know what they're talking about," and it's like, you know what? Just because we're old doesn't mean we don't understand this stuff.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The older you are, the wiser you are, and the more you learn about the world and stuff like that. So
What's next for you? The 4 pitches.
more pitches. Yeah. I love being an investor. I love I'm really gonna focus on the book this year a lot.
Oh, good.
Last year I shadowed my wife, she's an actor. So I
Oh, nice.
shadowed her. I worked from set, like a bunch of different sets. I podcasted. We spent the last like year and a half just traveling around the world. So I'm really enjoying doing that. She's starting a movie next week too. So we'll be doing
Wow, nice.
Nice. I want to figure out a way how to like combine the crypto and film industry somehow. It's hard,
Yeah.
but also I want to finish my book this year. I need to write because I'm forgetting it.
Now, is this like a autobiography book?
I started writing this book when I got into Bitcoin. I started writing this book over 10 years ago.
Holy crap.
It's just been so far it's 137 pages of like start, stop.
Yeah.
So I have a good segments of like 60, 70 pages of full through reading. I have a point where I hired a ghostwriter, so the writing's changed.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have a point where I was it's just a big amalgamation of I need to just finish it this year. It's getting time.
Yeah, that's hard. You know, I've got a couple of those that I go back to every like 3 months and wish I had like actually taken the block of time in my life. But you know, life happens. So,
Yeah.
that's
And it's tough though, because you're trying to put something out there and, you know, the times change and time goes by and all of a sudden you're writing about something that's a little bit different nuance. And then you're going back to the beginning and go, well, that doesn't really make sense now. And so how do I bring this idea forward? And
Yeah, how do you bring those days? I like that's what I want to do. The book takes place between like the end of 2010 till about early 2014. And then I'm not going to write anymore after that. It's been well documented what happened. 2014, 2015 were like the watershed moments of our industry.
right.
But before that, there's almost nothing in existence.
Right.
And that's where really,
No, I think that's going to be an
Yeah.
awesome story.
I hope
I'll
I hope
definitely
I can
read
finish it.
That's great. Well, congratulations, man. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking time out.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate
Appreciate
being here.
Congratulations with you guys too.
Thanks. And thanks for doing everything you do for the industry. Seriously. I mean, I know you're constantly giving. I know your show is all about telling the stories of crypto and what's going on, what's happening in Bitcoin. I listened to a ton of episodes and I always learn something about what people have done and why they have done it. And it's amazing. So I'll keep
If you guys weren't doing your show, most people would have to focus on mainstream media. We are the last independent media.
That's right.
This is it. Like people like this is where you're getting the real information. There's no bias here.
Yep.
You know, everything out that door, all the other mainstream media out that door, someone's paying their salaries. There's a bias there. And so we're the only ones that's left.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the opportunity, right? I think we're the ones that can do it. I think we can overtake the big. So, fantastic. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate it
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah, very cool. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
How do you